No, I was just thinking when I've worked with you before, and I think what happens is I try to figure out what you're doing so much that I don't focus on what you're doing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, because that's one of the secrets of this stuff is to let the mind think that it's trying to figure something out, and while
Mm-hmm.
it's thinking, we just kind of get it out of the way so that we can go in
Yeah.
and do what really happens. Because yeah. So hi everybody. This is my good friend Vickie, and we're gonna be talking about some stuff that I think is really big in the world right now. So this is the Crush Imposter Syndrome and End Anxiety Forever talk for entrepreneurs and for anybody that's trying to figure out what to do in life, because we're in some crazy, crazy times. And there's a lot of people that don't know what the heck they're doing, and a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of gifts to bring to the world. So we don't even know exactly how this is going to go. But Vickie and I were literally on another call together because we do some big stuff together. And we're like, let's do this. Let's just talk about this thing, and we'll just go and see if we can help some people. So, Vickie, can you just tell us a little bit about you, anything that kind of a little background, and then we'll just get right into talking about whatever shows up.
Sure, not a problem, Ralph. Thank you so much for offering to do this. I think this is great. I think we complement each other so well. So, and I think we'll work well together. So it'll be exciting to see what comes of the call, and then what happens as we keep our little mini series going here.
Yeah.
But well, let me just start off by saying I'm Vickie Michaud. I am currently I'm the founder and CEO of Hope Builders, which is a nonprofit construction company that I founded in 2017 at the face of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. I ended up, I have a home in Vieques, Puerto Rico. And prior to the storm of Maria, um, as it was coming, I was really worried because, they were saying that it was a category 6 hurricane. Well, there's no such thing as a category 6 hurricane. So the night I went to bed, the hurricane was coming, and I just prayed, Lord, if you want my home, keep my home. If you don't, I'll use it as a blessing to others. And I went to bed and just released it all to God. And then the next morning I flipped on the TV, and there was just nothing about the hurricane. I mean, there's like about what the damage was. It just, all we knew was it was really bad in Puerto Rico. And then day 2, we still hadn't heard anything. And I had happened to be at the gym in the morning, and there were 10 television screens across where the treadmill was. And I happened to look up, and there it was, all the destruction that had happened in Puerto Rico. And there was mudslides coming 2, 3 stories through windows and doors of people's homes, and people walking around like a bomb had gone off. And I immediately just started praying right there, like, Lord, what could I possibly do to help? And it just came to me that with my I have over 27 years of experience in real estate sales and development. It just came to me that I was going to build homes, rebuild homes in Puerto Rico. And I thought, how am I ever going to do this? I'm not a builder. I've handled construction before and in development, but this was a big thing. But I just knew I was being called to do it. So I left the gym. I didn't even finish my workout, and one thing led to another, and Hope Builders was born. And we went from being a nonprofit, just brand new. I knew nothing about nonprofits. The only time I had even worked in nonprofit, I'd worked in a women's ministry before. And years ago, after I graduated high school, I used to drive patients to radiation therapy for the Red Cross. But I really knew nothing about the nonprofit world. So I Googled it and, started reaching out to people who were in the industry. And Hope Builders was born October 27th, 2017. I formed the organization. I brought in some people, and it took a lot to get back to the island. But once I did, I realized that really what needed to happen on top of building new homes was we needed to rehab the homes that were damaged. And that's concerning because you never know how much time it's going to take, what type of labor, what type of materials. And Vieques is an island off the island, so there was no ferry service. How were we going to get materials? So we actually started off by taking scrap materials and fixing people's roofs. And then I kept going to these meetings with FEMA, and I finally just got our leg in the door. We got a bunch of donations from FEMA over from April 18th, we got our April 2018, we got our first delivery. We had volunteers and we just started. And from April 2018 until September of last year, we managed, by the grace of God, to repair and rebuild 268 homes. We helped over 850 families get back into their homes. We helped families get FEMA claims. They were denied FEMA, couldn't get the money to, get help. We helped over 40 people get 5,000 up to $30,000 to get materials and to be able to afford labor to build their homes. So it's been a pretty wild ride. And we just keep helping. And since COVID, things have the funding isn't like it used to be. So we're just plugging along and we're doing different things in the community. Prior to Hope Builders, as I had mentioned, I was in the real estate business for 27 years. I worked in real estate investments, mostly residential sales. And I also did some new construction development and, amongst other things, working a lot with real estate investors. And I've just felt that it's been my calling to coach people, but I just don't know, Ralph. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how to start. I don't know what exactly I should coach people in. And that's why, to let everyone know why we decided to do this was I'm stuck. I know that I have a lot of skills that I bring to the table that I could offer people, but I just don't know what that looks like. I've sadly suffered some serious traumas, as a lot of people have in their lifetime. But my youngest brother was murdered brutally in 2007. My young cousin, just in September last year, was murdered. Um, I've had, I've dealt with and that's, things that happened to family members, but then I've had, physical, mental, and sexual abuse that I've lived through. So I feel like I don't feel like these things happened because I was a bad person or because I did something wrong. I believe that they happened so my relationship with God would be closer. I really believe that in my heart. But I also believe that things like that happen so we can help people. Another great thing is I've been sober for, oh my goodness, I've lost count. I think it's been 28 years now I've been sober for. So, it's just, I've accomplished a lot in my short period of time. So I just don't know exactly what it looks like that I should be helping people with.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. That's huge. And so I've got gives me goosebumps. Like, how did Vickie and I get on the call? An hour ago, we had no idea we were going to be doing this, but something feels really big here. And I have a question. So you had a home in Puerto Rico, but you were somewhere else when the hurricane hit?
Yeah, I had actually just gotten back to Massachusetts. My husband and I had visited Vieques, and then what happened was I had visited by myself, and I had just gotten back. I think it was about 2 weeks prior to the storm. I just got back to Massachusetts.
Okay. And and you were doing real estate at that time?
No, actually, strangely enough, in 2017, I had owned a store for a short period of time. I owned a very large home decor and artisan shop and furniture and home decor, and it was all artisan made furniture. I had found myself to be a furniture artist. I could refurnish furniture and recreate it to be something else. So I started doing that after I couldn't do real estate full time because we have three boys that they were in high school and I was driving kids back and forth to school. So I started doing that. I closed down my real estate so I could focus on the kids more and kind of retired from it. And then I started my furniture store, and my stepdad had fallen ill with cancer, and I had decided, and it is ironic because months before that I felt this calling that I wanted to start coaching. But then I was like, oh, maybe it's not coaching, maybe I just need to help. I just knew I wanted to help people. I didn't know what that looked like. And so I started taking care of my stepdad, bringing him to his treatments every week. That was 3 to 5 days a week. We were going to different doctors. So I ended up closing down my store. It was great. It was fun. It just really didn't make a lot of money. And I just felt like, it was the right thing to do to take care of him. So I was actually was doing that when the storm had hit. So I
Okay.
really wasn't working a full-time profession.
So you had some beautiful place making beautiful furniture, and it was making it, but just not making a ton of money, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
But what about in real estate? Like when you made that decision to work with your three boys and to step back from real estate, how was the real estate world for you? Were you like thriving in that world?
Yeah, we had I had quite a few agents, but what was happening was my business was in Florida and I moved to Massachusetts to marry my husband in 2011. So what was happening was I was flying back and forth, and it just became a burden to my husband to be home with the kids when he needed to work. And it was just easier for me to be, he wanted me home with the kids. So it, rather than flying back and forth. So we made a decision that, well, he really wanted me to stop. So, but I kept going, and we kept it going. And then we ended up, people, because I wasn't there full time, my staff, it was like, we really want you here. So they started falling away. And then it got down to a handful of people rather than a large group of people. And I had just made a decision that, it made more sense to close the doors and just be free of it. So it was thriving. And then, without me being there, it just wasn't thriving like it would have been had I been there full time.
Yeah. So what I've seen is a pattern of like getting some, I would call it divine inspiration to do something like do a furniture store, have a successful thriving real estate business, but then start to realize you're going to do it differently, and the universe, God, starts to get it to crumble a bit, and now you follow your inspiration and you do that, and then on the treadmill, and instantly you just have this inspiration, and then things just start to happen, and you didn't know what was going to happen in the next week or day, but it just
Right.
turned into this help Puerto Rico and the people there, and there's this inspiration that you follow. How do you know to do something like shut down a whole business or start an artisan shop or just get off the treadmill and just start like healing Puerto Rico? How did you know to do that?
Ralph, I really have to say it's God, because there's no other logical explanation. I
But it
just
doesn't
get
happen.
these,
Do you like?
yeah, I get these thoughts in my head, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And that's why I'm so confused about the coaching, because I feel like I need to do it, but I just don't have that feeling like I did with Hope Builders. Like I just knew that I knew that I had to do it. I knew that and it just and I think with a lot of things, Ralph, when you just have that faith,
Yeah,
and that thought that I'm going to do this come heck or high water,
yeah.
that's what I do. And sometimes I just get this feeling like I need to do this. And when I do it, Ralph, it just explodes. It's amazing. Like everyone's like, oh, wow, look what you've done with Hope Builders. I have to give that glory to God. I can't take that glory. I was just the vessel, but
Yeah,
I just
you're in 40 days, 40 nights, like in the desert, like waiting for further instruction.
right. And that's exactly what I feel like. It's funny that you say that, because those are the exact words I said to myself a couple of weeks ago. Lord, I'm in the desert. Like, what do you want me to do? And I feel like he's saying, just stay still right now. He
Yeah.
keeps telling me, I've got you by the right hand. And it says it so clearly in scripture. And I believe it. He does have me by the right hand, and he's bringing me through, step by step. But it's just, I'm not sure exactly what it is he wants me to do. Ralph, I'm going to walk with you, but I have to shut my phone ringer off my phone.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that way we don't get interrupted.
Okay. Yeah, because I think God's about to say something.
Give
Yeah,
me a second. I
man,
have
oh,
two
man,
phones here.
this feels amazing. And I can feel stuff, and this feels amazing. And it, I feel like doing a little something, not little something. I feel like using I feel like I'm doing something. So I'm going to ask your permission if I can do a healing thing for you and the world, because the world definitely needs whatever that is that you're waiting for. Can we do a little thing for you?
Sure, let's try
Okay.
it, Ralph.
So you've already said it. It's like so yeah, and everybody can do this themselves and just feel what you feel. And by that, I mean like test something real for yourselves, like move your neck around, move your body around, walk around, take a moment and just think about what you want your life to look like. And and physically see how things move, test yourself. And then we're going to do a little something here. And it's one of my most powerful ways that I use to manifest stuff, whether you know what you're supposed to be doing or whether you don't, or whether you think you know you're supposed to be doing something and then it goes even different than you imagined. But if you're an entrepreneur, if you entrepreneurial and you're just an artist, not just but an artist, and you have something to bring to the world, or you know you can help somebody, and you don't know what to do, this is a really cool way to do it. And we're going to do it right now. So just think of the question, and Vickie just said it. So yeah, that prayer, that question to the universe of like to God, like, okay, you know, something's going on and I'm in here in the desert. What am I supposed to do? Just show me what to do. I'll do it. Just show me what to do. And then what you can do is just take a moment, and it comes from, it's in every spiritual tradition: be still and know that I am God. And my friend who recently passed away had a near-death experience many years ago, and I interviewed him many times on our Miracles, Magic, Healing, and More show. It's his name's Don. You can go find the interviews. And I just was curious, like, okay, what was it like? And he says, well, instantly I knew everything and I was everything. And I'm like, okay. And then he said, and then there was a question, do you want to go back? And of course I asked, who asked that question? And he kind of smiled and he goes, it wasn't like that. And what was it like? And so then down the road later, I was like, okay, Don, what do you recommend? Like, you know, meditation, mindset, use the power of now, and the secret, and you know, think and grow rich, and all these different things. I didn't say all those things, but you know, what do you recommend? And he smiled and he laughed and he says, just shut up and listen.
Isn't that the
This is for
truth?
my friend Don. And what we can do in the next moment, I mean, how much time does grace need, right? Like just drop into put your attention inside your body and just notice. Just and then go ahead and just test things. Walk around again. See how the world looks. Turn your head. Move your body. Move your see if something's different. And there's something the world I play in, and obviously the world that Vickie lives in, is a very magical world. And you know, to get off a treadmill and just to go do an entirely new life and start to save Puerto Rico, just from a treadmill to that, something's going on. And I
When you say it like that, Ralph, it makes me like, wow.
yeah. And so something happened to me quite a few months ago. And my world is that I'm getting continual confirmation that, oh my God, it's way more magical than we've been led to believe. And there is access to that infinite. I mean, I love Jesus and the things he said. And at one point, the disciples were all freaking out because they were, since this is Easter time, it's like a pretty good time to do it. They're all freaking out. The boat's tipping over. They think they're going to die. And Jesus is asleep. And he finally wakes up and goes, don't you know you are a God? He didn't say you are the God, but he did say, don't you know you are a God? And in the Old Testament, it literally says you are a God. And so quite a few months ago, I running on our forest trails. We have beautiful trails up here, Bellingham, Washington, Trail Town, USA. But somebody had cut down a tree. It's in an arboretum, so obviously it had to be the city or something. Had cut down this tree, and they didn't leave the arboretum alone and let it be natural. But the tree had been cut down, and there was like a 1.5 foot tall stump. And I would go and stand on it and look out through the forest and look at the bay, and it's beautiful. And it's right before this downhill that goes to the university. And so I would do that from time to time when I was going on my run. And a few weeks ago, now it's probably been about a month, I was running by that spot and there was no stump. And I'm like, what? I missed the stump. Where is it? Did they take it out? So I went back, and it was a very specific spot right before a downhill that went right to the university. And and there was no stump, and there was no disturbed ground, and the ivy was still all over the ground, and nobody had taken out a stump. And I'm like, oh my God, there's never been a stump here. The tree wasn't here. And so I play in parallel universes and other dimensions, and where magic is actually real. And little kids know this. They play exactly in this world. And Jesus said stuff like, to enter the kingdom of heaven, you must be as a child. What do children do but play? And when they play for real. And so I would love to hear what people feel. And there's a lot more to do to, crush imposter syndrome and end anxiety and do what you're here to do. But, if you've got an inkling, if you've got a thought, if you've got some sort of like dream, if something's supposed to happen and you don't know what it is, Vickie and I both have stories of like, I'm literally talking to God, like, okay, God, this is it, man. Either take me or like show me what to do. So that's where I've been in my life. And so what you can do is from time to time, when you ask that question, if there's so many of us in very transitional periods, like, what do we do? Just be still and notice what's happening in your body. Just be still. And then notice what's different. And if I still go by that area where that stump was. And part of me thinks, oh, come on, Ralph, you just missed it. It's another part of this forest. But the trail's a quarter mile long and it's right before this hill. And I literally stood on it. And so how much are we missing of this magic? Like what caused Vickie to get off the treadmill and just know absolutely what she was to do? So we got on this call today and we don't know where it's going. And I still don't know where it's going. And I'd like to keep talking to Vickie because I think obviously she's magic and obviously she listens to God and inspiration. And talk about an action taker. Those homes didn't get built in Puerto Rico by sitting around and just praying. She was in there, man. And so yeah, I'd like to open it up to Vickie again and just let's see if we can find a little I mean, this is how much space does God need, right? Like open a door and I'll pour more abundance in your window, than you've ever imagined. It's like that's a spiritual promise, man. And the thing is, it if your mind is like, but I don't believe in God, it's been debunked about Jesus or whatever. But if you think of the physics of it, there's infinite energy in every little proton of our body. That's in the scientific peer-reviewed study by Nassim Haramein about the Schwarzschild proton. He found that the math shows that there's infinity in every proton. There's a lot of protons in us. And so that doesn't make sense. How can there be infinity here and here and here and here? I think it's kind of like Wi-Fi. Yeah, the movie is here. It's also in China. It's also there, and you can log on anywhere you are. So I start to like. It'd be fun to see what people notice that's different. And I have a question for you. Like, do you need like physically to make whatever's coming next for you? Do you need it? Or are you like pretty okay money wise, life wise? You could just kick back and hang out in Massachusetts, take some vacations, or do you need this for any reason?
No, I feel like I definitely need a salary.
So there is a money thing, and I think that can be a real driving force because sometimes I just wanted to ask, sometimes people have made all the money in the world and they're like they don't need to make it happen.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm still young and I would like to leave a legacy for generations to come. That's, and I really feel strongly I don't need a lot to live on, but I need a lot to give. And I really feel strongly about that, Ralph. And when I think about my giving, what I want it to look like, most people in my circle would, if I told them, they would think I was nuts. But I really firmly believe in every center of my being that I should be raising money. I should be making the kind of money, like hundreds of millions of dollars. So like, I feel strongly that people need affordable housing. I mean, it used to be a low income poor people's problem for housing, lack of housing, affordable, safe, sanitary housing. That is becoming a middle class problem. We have people that are earning 50, 60, $70,000 a year that they can pay rent and maybe a few other things, but they're broke. And it's a shame. And I feel like I do believe that I am going to be building somewhere, somehow, affordable homes. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if that's part of the calling. But I don't need a lot to live on, like I said, but I do need a lot of money to give. And I believe that once I start generating that amount of money, that will give me that ability to not only leave a legacy for my family, for my son, but also to leave a legacy for other people. I want to be a philanthropist. I want to be able to help people around the world.
Me too. Yeah, and money can be such a thing for entrepreneurs and for other people and for artists. It's like, oh, money bad, money
Yeah,
evil. Yeah, they have rich people like da 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 da.
yeah,
And if that's a thing, man, reach out to us because that's the thing to solve. I mean, really,
yeah.
you got to solve that stuff about around money. Um,
And Ralph, you and I met about money before. Remember when we first met? You and I, you worked with myself, and I think the gentleman's name was Andrew from our group. I think that was his name. And we talked about clearing money. And it's been a while since we did that. And I've done other work as well. And I did have some money blocks. I did feel like that's greedy to want money, or I was raised to believe that, do you think you're better than someone because you have money? And I recognize wholeheartedly now, that money is to be used for good. If money is used for bad, then yeah, those things could be said. But I don't want money because, granted, my life would improve, but it's going to improve more because I'm giving more, not because, I'm getting more.
Yeah, and you having money, what a role model for people that are trying to figure it out. Like just you having money and having some nice things, there's something useful about that. Like you guys, this actually works, and let's show you how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you we talked a little bit earlier about some something that you could offer even right now for even just a small group of people. Because of your time commitment and everything, but is there something you want to offer? Like I think you and I and Katie were talking about something and I forgot what your thing was, like offer it to 3 people kind of thing.
Oh, to reach out to nonprofits. Like I've reached out to people who are in the nonprofit world, because it's strange. Like with Hope Builders, I just made it happen. I knew,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously God made it happen. I don't want to steal his
But
thunder
you
because
made it happen. You got off that treadmill and you made calls and you did.
yeah, I definitely was the vessel. I mean, I know that I was the vessel, and I just feel like I don't know what I feel like each person that I could help would be individual to them. Like I don't think there's one
Yeah.
specific thing because someone may come to me with their, like someone came to me, they're launching a new nonprofit. They didn't even know where to start. So I said, here you go. Here's a list, do this, this, and this.
I got an
I
idea.
had
Yeah, I got an idea. Like, you tell me it's not, you're the one that would be doing the work, but something like 3 people that I'm going to open it up to nonprofit or profit, but people that want to do good in the world and feel stuck, but are inspired by this, like got off a treadmill and created a whole thing that saved all these families and 850 families and brought some of them 5K to 30K and 268 homes. Whatever she did, she might be able to help you. Um, do you want to make a call to action like and it's the kind of thing like Vickie obviously can make things happen and obviously has a connection to God and obviously is here to help. And so it wouldn't be slick, but if you want to talk with her, I'm going to ask her. I don't know if she will. If she wants to listen, talk. If you want to talk to a certain number of people, we could say give your contact information, or somehow they could reach me and I can send them your info. But because you're trying to figure out, okay, well, what's your vehicle? Like, how do you do this? Are you a coach? Are you just going to help one company do a version of this and then they go to scale with it? Do you want to put a call to action of any type out for people that are listening?
I'd be willing to do that. Yeah. It's not specific, Ralph. I feel like I just, like you said, profit or nonprofit. Maybe there are, motivated leaders who, they're on a mission. They have a mission that they want to accomplish. and they're just not quite sure how they're going to get there, or maybe they have a roadblock that's in their way, and I can help them figure out roadblocks. I mean, for an example, we it's kind of weird, but in the island, we had a hard time getting materials to our island. It seemed like every time we were trying to get materials to our island on the ferry, we turned around and told the trucks couldn't come on. And it was only our trucks. And we believed what was happening was there was someone on the island who didn't want materials off island being brought in. They wanted us to buy the materials there. Well, we couldn't. These materials were being donated, or we could get them at such a cost that at such a low price that we were able to help more families. So of course that's what I wanted to do. And so they would turn us around. So we used to have to sneak materials in like budget trucks and bring them over and say, oh, the truck's empty. And so we had to come at like be ingenuous, like how to figure out things, and figure out how we're going to do this or that. Or we didn't have any volunteers. We didn't have any workers. I don't speak Spanish. Yeah, I had a crew of
Wow.
Spanish speaking people. So you just kind of figure it out. And I feel like, yeah, we could do a call to action that way. Maybe someone has some obstacles that they need some help getting around, and maybe I could help them with that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's say, how about like 3 people?
Sure.
3 people, and you can screen them. Maybe you might even like send them an email to find out what they're up to, and if it's somebody you want to talk to, and so yeah, and so let's say Vickie's looking for 3 people that want to have a conversation with her to talk about whatever their hopes and dreams are, and seeing what can be done. And her thing is she's here to help, and she's looking for what's her version to help. So if you want somebody that can smuggle goods across borders.
No. Be careful how we word that.
Yeah, it reminds me of a store I used to love in San Diego, named Moving Shoes. I think they sold it and still it's called something else. But it was a couple of guys, my friends, and they were in Madison, Wisconsin, and there was a shoe company store called Moving Shoes, and they just like to go hang out in the store, and their wives were the ones that made the money in the family, and they're just these runners hanging out in the store, and they said we should have a store like this. And so Moving Shoes in Madison, Wisconsin said, well, you can just at least move 100 miles away. So they said, well, if we're going to move 100 miles away, let's go all the way to San Diego. So they moved to San Diego, and they lived in the back of this little rented place in Mission Beach, and they started to do this. But they tried to talk to Nike, and Nike was already big, and Nike wouldn't sell them shoes. They're like, you guys are too little. No, we don't sell to you guys. No. So what they did was they talked to their friends in Madison, Wisconsin, who had a contract with Nike, and they bought the shoes, and then they UPS them to San Diego. And so Nike was like, how are you guys selling Nikes in San Diego? And so it kind of reminds me of that. So the bootstrap kind of thing. So yeah. So if anybody wants to chat with Vickie, do you want to give a contact information, or do you want me to
Sure. They could message me, private message me on Facebook,
okay.
or email me. And the best email to use would be
type it in the chat, and I'll say it, and I'll share it in the Facebook group. Yeah, so if anybody wants to talk with Vickie and explore what to do to bring your dreams to the world, and let's create some magic here. I'm going to go check Facebook and see. I'm getting all these people that are like hundreds of mutual friends that are saying, confirm, be my friend. So I literally just saw the brother of one of our mutual coaches just messaged me. And I'm like, wow, he wants to be my friend. So maybe there's some magic happening. So we're going to get you guys the contact information, and I'm going to spread this to our group, spread this far and wide. Click like, click heart. If you were inspired, click heart and share it. And let's heal ourselves and heal the world. Did you type it in the chat at all?
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. Here, let me do that right now.
And then I'll say it, and then I'll also put it in the chat.
Okay.
I'll put it in the Facebook group. One thing that I notice is you don't just want to go willy-nilly any direction, but when you're inspired, it's time to move, and that's what Vickie has done with her life, and she's looking at what to do next. And it's what I've noticed is like, you don't want to just jump for no reason. Here's Vickie's. So we're going a little vulnerable here, putting your email right into a comment.
And what it is it's with faithirise@gmail.com.
Yeah, with faith.
And I came up with that because I really do feel like, and I would like to start a Facebook group. I have it already named, and it's with Faith I Rise, because I believe that if we have faith, we will rise. We just will. It's just going to happen. And I think for everybody that looks different, where if you're looking to do good, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be good.
Yeah. So with faithirise@gmail.com for Vickie. And hey, Henry, see somebody giving a big thumbs up. And yeah, and I'm actually getting ready to launch something. So I just want to open this up to the entrepreneurs, if anybody's interested, because we crush the imposter syndrome and end anxiety and help people get their dreams out to the world, find the people that are there to buy their stuff and do good in the world. And we're right about to launch about a week from now, but I am opening it up to 3 people at a very reduced cost. We've got a group of 19 healers that have been with me for 3 weeks. And we got this next week that we're together, getting it all together, a way to have a daily live healing session to clear all this stuff on the spot. Because, when you need to go do something big in the entrepreneurial world, you don't need to wait a week to clear that fear. And so we got something big. And if you're interested in that, then find me. You got me on Facebook, and you can find me also at ralphhavens.com/crush imposter syndrome. So I'll leave that, and message me if you want in on the first special 3-person thing that we're doing. So yeah, Vickie, this is cool. I would like to continue to talk with you, because you and I both know that things are happening for our good. God is doing things, and sometimes it looks like an obstacle, and sometimes we're waiting and in the desert and like, what are we doing here? And I think there's something more we can kind of keep chatting. So yeah, I'd like to chat with you more if you're.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, good to see you.
You too, Ralph. Thank you so much for taking the time, and thank everybody who took their time to watch us today. I'll be excited to see how we move forward and what comes about and who reaches out. And like Ralph said, if any, whoever wants to reach out, and even if it's something that you're not quite sure of, reach out and we'll talk and see what we can do.
Yeah. So let's see. So Vickie's with faith in.
No, with Faith I Rise.
With Faith I Rise. There it is. Yeah, with Faith I Rise. And mine, I'm putting it into the chat. So yeah, good to see everybody. And there we go. Mine's long. I need to get a smaller URL. All right, you guys, I'll see you all later. I'm going to turn off the recording so I can talk to Vickie.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Heal yourself and heal the world.